end and force Mustang errors on the defense.
So for SMU, last time out against North Texas, they did pick up the shutout, but Nicole Nelson thought the defense, Steve, could have been a little bit more organized on the back end, and they're going to get tested again today.
Yeah, and it was kind of what we were talking about in the keys there about transitional defense. And Boise State is a faster team. Boise State comes at you in big, big numbers. And you're right, Coach Nelson was saying they've got to be more organized and they've got to be quicker getting back into their defensive structure. And they will ask for more help from their midfielders to come back and help the back line. The back line held its ground against North Texas, but it faces a little stiffer challenge today.
For SMU, a dangerous moment as Brooke Button was looking inside for Jules Richter, and Button has been the fire starter for SMU in the middle of that defense. As you mentioned, Boise State very worried about her, as we did have some technical difficulties with our audio off the top. We apologize about that, but SMU and Boise State scoreless 3 minutes in here in Dallas. John Little alongside Steve Lansdale. It is a 105-degree day. It feels like 109 at start time, with the wind out of the south blowing right to left across the field at about 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's hot enough for us sitting up here in the shade in the booth with a bottle of water next to us. You can only imagine what it's like for these players running in the heat.
Martin has it taken away by attacking midfielder Sydney Connor, and Martin is able to fight back for it and make it a goal kick. But Boise State is going to bring a lot of pressure. They have pressure triggers in their defense, and a good portion of their offense comes from trying to force you to make mistakes on the back end.
Yeah, and it's not just their forward line. I think we'll see the Boise forwards pressing high for much, if not all, of the game. But they will also press their central midfielders kind of high and really try to clog up the middle and, as you said, force the SMU defense into making potentially costly mistakes in the back end.
This one goes off of Kamaya Beck, as Caitlin Slocum was the last to touch it for Boise State, but SMU slips it out of pressure, and Beck just could not handle it out at midfield. For the Broncos, they are the two-time defending regular season champs of the Mountain West, but they have moved on to the Pac-12, picked third in that league for this season under Jim Thomas in his 14th season as the head coach in Boise. And he definitely has a way that he coaches. He wants aggression. He wants to use a lot of players each and every day. And we expect to see a team that will come with 90 minutes of fever here today.
Yeah, John, you and I were talking before the game. A lot of times a visiting team will have 8 or 10 players on the bench ready to come in. Boise traveled with, I believe it's 29 players. It's an enormous travel roster. You don't see many visiting teams bringing that many players. And that's not just an acknowledgement of the heat that the Broncos are going to face here and in the next game against Texas Tech. That's how they roll. They are a deep team, and they play deep.
And Boise is caught offside here as they came way up high to try to take that one away. And that was an offside call that was about 45 feet away from the goal, as Sophie Schmautz, an incredibly fast right wing, sometimes making runs a little bit too soon, was the one that was cut offside.
But it's the second offside in the first 5 minutes, and I think that's an indication of just how high these Broncos are going to play. They are going to try to live in the SMU defensive backfield and see what kind of chaos they can cause for those Mustang defenders.
Aubrey Brown, the shutout last time out, the clean sheet. Only had to make one save, and a giveaway by Samuelson Elfram. But Martin able to take it right back for SMU and feed it up the sideline. And here goes Brooke Button. Button with a little bit of a heavy touch. And Jannereth able to catch up with it for SMU to get a throw in. So the Mustangs tried to build something in the offensive third early on against this Bronco team that is so tough to score against. They have not given up 2 goals in a match since October of last season in a 2-2 draw at Colorado College in Colorado Springs.
That's a pretty remarkable statistic. I mean, even if even if you're a very strong defensive team, you got to think that every now and then you're going to have a day where you give up a goal and then something unfortunate happens, a deflection, a corner kick that gets rerouted or something like that. To not give up 2 in almost a calendar year is really remarkable.
And a big reason for that is Ava DeLeest, the sophomore keeper out of Fullerton, California. Only 5'6", but incredibly athletic, great shot stopper. Also does a great job with tempo, coming out of the back, knowing when to help her team push and when not, as Martin sticks in and has a great tackle there. But DeLeest coming off an outstanding year. What a ball in the direction of Richter, trying to reach it and coming off her line. Ava DeLeest marches to it. You see the athleticism as she catches up with it in front of Richter as 2 Californians were striding after that ball.
Yeah, you were just talking a moment ago about how quick DeLeest is, and she showed it right there. She read that pass and hit the jets and was able to beat Richter, who had a head start on getting to the ball. Very, very good mobility there from DeLeest.
First ever player in the Mountain West to be Defensive Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Year in the same season. She had just an outstanding year. A goals against average of .93 with 6 shutouts a season ago, and she was even better once Boise State reached conference play, and that's what Jim Thomas does. 24-3-5 over the last 3 conference seasons for the Boise State head coach.
There are some coaches out there who are almost allergic to asking too much of a freshman, especially in a position like goalkeeper. And Jim Thomas not only had the faith in DeLeest, but he was rewarded for that faith. Fantastic debut performance last year from his then freshman goalie.
This cross popped into the air by Stryker. And ends up going off of Boise State on the far sideline. Elise McGinnis was the last one to touch it. Stryker picking up her 3rd start in a row at the outside back position after coming off the bench as a 6 for this team a season ago. First ever game against an ACC team for Jim Thomas as the head coach at Boise State. Cindy Connor in the corner looking for a cross, and it's knocked away. A nice job to race to it by SMU's Zoe Parkhurst, but it does end up in a corner for the Broncos and something to defend early on for SMU.
And these early corners will be worth watching because you can see the shadows behind the players. Everyone on both teams, a bunch of them have their hands up over their eyes. They are going to be the corners and free kicks coming from this west side of the field. All the players are going to be staring right into the sun.
So you see several players shielding their eyes inside the box right now. Looks like it's going to be Jill Anderson to take it. The Allen native plays it short out to Sydney Connor. Connor whips it around to up top, looking for Caitlin Slocum. And finally, something into the box is knocked right back out and into touch, as it was able to be cleared by Stryker and the SMU Mustangs. So Boise State putting on something other than a direct corner kick early on here in Dallas.
You mentioned Jillian Anderson being from Allen, Texas. That's about 20 minutes up I-75 from where we are right now. And Coach Thomas was saying that she has been absolutely giddy in her anticipation of this game, which is a homecoming. It's a trip to come see family.
And she scored on a free kick last week, and she's going to have another opportunity to do so here as Zoe Parkhurst is called for the foul. A little too much body as Campbell Wilson started to march forward. So Anderson, 11 goals and 11 assists in her career, the high school teammate of SMU's Libby Jannereth at Allen. Anderson, the Allen offensive MVP back in 2023, now in her 3rd season with Boise State, just ecstatic about coming home. Leaves it for Anderson. Doesn't go direct. Instead, a header is wide. A couple players were there up above the defense, and it looked as though it was Maddie Donovan and Michaela Stanfield in the area. Stanfield going at 5'11", but Donovan at 5'4", also leapt up.
The Broncos do have some height in this lineup, a bunch of 5'9", 10, 11 players, and that's going to present A little bit of an uncomfortable number of targets for the Mustangs to defend on set pieces. Again, you see the Broncos pressing high. Haley Hartman had to basically just spin away and play it back to her goalkeeper. But through the first 12 minutes, we've seen nothing but a high press from these Broncos. I don't know that they'll keep it up for the full 90 minutes, but I'd be surprised if we don't see an awful lot of it.
Well, they normally do, and they have those press triggers, like if a pass goes negative. A lot of times they're going to go after it. And now Hartman, stationary for a while, lets players move and outwaits that Boise State team to get it up to Beck and cross midfield for SMU. Hartman back as a starter for this team, getting that fifth-year opportunity. Now Button gets a ball inside in the midst of three, is able to stop on a dime and feed it out to Richter. Richter looking for Beck inside the area. Beck tries to cross it, knocked down. It is cleared, and a race for the ball. It's cleared back out to midfield.
I think that play by Bunton a minute ago might have been the play of the game so far. Simply running onto the ball in a triple team defense from the Broncos, and she was able to keep possession and keep her poise enough to pull the ball back out and maintain possession for SMU.
SMU another throw in as the freshman Campbell Wilson, the back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year, and the state of Idaho gives it away. But she's had an incredible start to her career with 3 goals and 2 assists over the first 2 matches. Also becoming the first Boise State freshman since 2017 to score twice in her debut. First freshman as well to score in back-to-back matches since 2017. Wilson, what an incredible start to the career, and just a stunning player, says Jim Thomas.
Yeah, again, and he thinks she is just scratching the surface of what she can be. Your Bronco fans have to be very, very excited about her future.
Her next step is on the defensive end, but right now she is a big-time goal threat, and so she is going to get a lot of the minutes at a forward spot for Boise State, but they have got another great 9 to bring off the bench in Mia Lane, more of a connector for the Broncos as well. Both teams trying to get a feel for this matchup.
Nice recovery by Richter, who was falling down but was able to still stretch out one leg and toe poke it all the way back to Hartman to keep possession.
Martin trying to cross it up, but Cindy Connor comes away with the theft. And it will be a throw-in for Boise State after Connor, the 4th-year senior out of Orange, California, stops the progress for SMU. Post up by Schmaltz, and as she turns, she loses it. Parkhurst stepping away from a defender and looking deep down the left side for Jannereth. Letting her run onto it, but too much weight on this ball as SMU trying to play over the top of the Broncos when they get the opportunity.
And they've done it on both sides. They tried to do it on the other side earlier with Richter. Clearly, they're looking at the way the Broncos are pushing forward. And again, the Broncos are not just pushing forward with a front line of 3 players. They're pushing forward with 10. Everybody who's not a goalie is creeping forward as much as possible. Zoe Parkhurst looked up, saw an awful lot of real estate, and figured, hey, Libby Jannereth can outrun most defenders. Let's give this one a ride and see if she can go get it. That will not be the last time they try that today.
Beck trying to nod it down. Ends up bounding out toward the fence near midfield here in Dallas. It is a very hot one, the first of a doubleheader, as the SMU men will open up their season a little bit later. And Boise State has been a very potent offense early this season with 7 goals over their first 2 matches. It's their most goals to start a season in the first 2 games since 2008, and it's not as though it's just been one player.
No, it's been a nice balanced attack, and that has to be incredibly encouraging for Coach Thomas and his staff.
SMU, a team that will bring some pressure as well. As Button runs after it on this 105-degree day. Chested down by DeMott, the transfer out of Iowa State. She and Hartman getting the center back pairing off the top for Nicole Nelson. Nelson telling us before the match that she just loves her depth at the center back spot. It's something she hasn't had in quite a few years. We might even see 2 new center backs in the second half, depending on how things go, as there is a foul on the defensive midfielder, Zoe Parker. She's bumped down from behind.
That is a real luxury for Coach Nelson and her staff. Every year, just about every coach in America goes out looking for center backs. It is a tough position to fill if you're trying to find both size and speed and athletic ability and just technical quality. And you're right, the depth she has in the middle this year is better than she's had in quite a while. And it gives her and her staff a lot of options as to the kind of rotations they're able to use going forward.
And of course, Haley Hartman coming back, and a big part of that as DeMott has to play it back to Aubrey Brown. Watch the whole way. Hartman able to play the full 90 last time out against North Texas. Samuelson Elverum turns it back inside to Parkhurst, playing as the dual pivot. Now able to feed it up to Richter. SMU patiently looks to connect and try to get something forward, but Martin unable to handle that one. It was a nice pass by Elverum. It just took an in-between hop, and Martin not able to handle it. As Boise State, we will be seeing a lot of their bench. Mia Lane coming on for the first time, the transfer from San Diego State, in to replace Sophie Schmaltz. Lane more of a connector for this team. Jim Thomas says you got piano carriers and piano players, and Mia Lane is a piano player. That's the 3rd foul on Boise State. Another one on Campbell Wilson.
Part of that pressure of pressing high with the forwards in midfield, it allows people to be more aggressive going after loose balls. And in doing so, sure, you create turnovers, but you also do draw whistles.
Beck had a good idea trying to thread it through the line, looking for a line-breaking pass to get Richter in behind, but it does get sniped away. Here comes Mia Lane. Brown able to get rid of it. Brown has been working on her decisions as a keeper with the new goalkeepers coach, Chason Griggs, one of 2 new assistant coaches on this roster, along with Nick Petroselli and Miles Vaughn, 3rd year on the staff. Got elevated to associate head coach in the offseason.
If that name Petroselli sounds familiar to anyone, that's obviously Nick is the son of Chris Petroselli, the former head coach under whom Nicole Nelson was an assistant here at SMU. So he also is a former SMU student athlete, having played for Kevin Hudson on the men's side. So he's got as much SMU DNA in his blood as anybody on that staff.
And he was part of the staff as well with Trinity FC, the pro team here in town, and decided that he wanted to get into the college game and had that opportunity in the offseason. And as you said in game 1, Nicole Nelson really happy to have him. Now, a little bit of space for Boise State. Jillian Anderson has it poked away, though, by Brooke Button, who tracks back defensively and stops the advancement for Boise State. The Broncos able to twist it back, though, but this time it's Samuelson Elverum that takes it away. Libby Jannereth to Beck. That could not bring it in.
Jannereth again showing that speed off, though, as we see the offside flag go up.
3rd one on Boise.
Yeah, that's 3 in 20 minutes. Fairly comfortable saying that won't be Boise State's last offside foul. I guess violation, not foul, but
they are a very aggressive team offensively, looking to play over the top and past you rather than to pass through you on the offensive end in general. And DeMott has it poked away by Lane. His last touched by Lane as Jim Thomas will bring in more subs. Boise State going into the bench to bring Olivia Collins on at a wing spot. And also Asia Lawyer is on as well for the Broncos.
Kaylee Noble checking in for SMU. So both teams acknowledging that this heat will make people wilt a little bit. And yes, they're very fit athletes, but you're going to need some rotation to keep people fresh.
Yeah, not going to wait for the hydration break. Parkhurst trying to hold off Asia Lawyer. Lawyer, number 19 on the field. You'll find she is a relentless pressure player and really will not let up, no matter where the ball is. Kaylee Noble, as you mentioned, on for Kamaya Beck at the center forward position. Noble to transfer from Texas A&M. Started her career at Cal State Fullerton. All in the middle for Lane. Left behind Collins. Collins has to backtrack to keep it in possession. Boise State coming off 3 straight double-digit win seasons. A lot of those wins, 8 of them each year, coming in the Mountain West. Looking for a little bit more success in non-conference matches. They're 2-0 to start this year with a 3-0 win over CSUN at home, and then following that up with a victory over Weber State, 4-1 on the road, a Weber State team that they lost to in the early part of the 2025 season.
No foul, no foul.
Another foul going against Boise State here. Fouls now 4-1 in favor of the Broncos. A game after they picked up 14 against Weber State, and Weber State only committed 2.
The Broncos just playing with a more aggressive style than SMU right now, and it's been reflected not only in chances and time spent in the offensive end, but also 3 offsides and 4 fouls against the Broncos.
Good job by Elverum to be calm, get it to Parkhurst, up to Noble down the left channel. Noble looking for players to join, drags it out to the corner, trying to turn the corner against the center back, Slocum, reaching the end line, and it's a goal kick for Boise State. Well played by the veteran senior center back, Caitlin Slocum.
Yeah, really nice job. And got some help. There was almost double team blocking there as Noble tried to turn the corner and get into the box. She just got pinned and shielded away from the ball.
Well-earned hydration break for both these sides with Boise State and SMU scoreless.
Are you watching? Good. Because it's time. Whatever happens next, happens here.
And done. A complete list of reasons why the ACC is great.
You forgot ACC game days.
And football.
Yes.
Hoops. Oh, I was gonna say hoops. Every sport, really.
I see.
From East Coast to West.
Precisely. One at a time.
No one can touch us.
Slow down.
Yo, it's us. We all make the ACC great.
Yes.
And football.
And hoops. We're all attractive.
And we're smart.
Lacrosse, swimming,
Baseball.
We're gonna need a bigger board.
What about fantastic volleyball? We got them all.
Pro Plan, excellent choice.
Yep, he keeps you ready for anything.
Sure.
Pro Plan's exceptional nutrition fuels all of life's adventures. PetSmart, anything for pets.
We have talked since we started the broadcast about the heat. 105 degrees at kickoff, and we get it. It's pretty hot pretty much across the country. I stand corrected, 106 at kickoff. It's hot everywhere if you watch, news and weather reports and all that, but 106 is a different animal than a lot of the country deals with. And as we've said many times, we are going to see lots and lots of subs from both teams, and I don't know, should we keep an over-under on how many times we mention the heat during this broadcast?
Yeah, maybe we should. And I'm not sure how many minutes a normal player like Jill Anderson will get as opposed to a normal game when it's 106 outside. But Anderson's used to playing in the heat. She grew up here in Allen, just about 25 minutes to our north, and teamed up with Libby Jannereth on the Eagles side. Just a year ahead of Libby is Jillian Anderson, and Anderson has been a model citizen and a great member of the program since making her way to Boise.
And based on the way Coach Thomas was talking about Jillian Anderson and this trip back to the Metroplex, he may have to drag her off the field to give her a little bit of a rest, because he said her excitement about this trip was pretty much through the roof.
Jill Anderson was really excited to bring her teammates to town, give them some of that Dallas flavor, whether it be barbecue or whether it be Buc-ee's.
How about your goalkeeper taking a free kick almost at midfield?
Something she did in the opening match as well. Was able to float it all the way in, even into a little bit of a breeze. Stryker was the last to touch it and had no choice but to go after it to try to make it a throw-in, and it ends up going off of a Boise State player right there at the end, as Stryker had to chase it down just to keep it from being a corner kick. And
boy, I don't know where the contact with the ball was on that.
Well, maybe it's going to be a foul instead. It would have to be, right? And I think
there it is.
That's the case.
Yeah, because Stryker ended up rolling into the sand in the pit for the track behind the south end of the field.
Yeah.
But that free kick by DeLeast, 45 yards or whatever it was off her goal line, that wasn't just her pushing forward to say, hey, I want to get in on the offense too. That allows the Broncos to continue what they've been doing, which is pressing high. By letting her take that free kick, you had 10 teammates across midfield, and about 7 of them were in or very near the penalty area.
Noble reaches this ball. This is a good opportunity for SMU. Gets pulled back, fires it in, punched over by Ava DeLeast. And Kaylee Noble with a very dangerous moment moving forward for SMU.
Yeah, you see Noble fighting off a defender here. She's getting her left arm tugged, still gets a shot away. And you spoke about the fact that although DeLeast is extremely accomplished from her freshman year, she is 5'6", and that shot was aimed high, and my guess is that was not an accident. That's very well part of the scouting report.
SMU scored off 7 corners a season ago. Jules Richter will be the one to pump it in. Stryker, who is a target sometimes on set pieces, comes out, and on for the first time is freshman Abby Goldine, a great athlete in her own right. So to the left of DeLeast, the serve in by Richter, and a foul coming on SMU inside the boxed area.
Abby Goldine, another welcome addition to this Mustang team. Thought she was very good against North Texas. And she's another player with, as you said, the athleticism and versatility to fill a number of different roles for Nicole Nelson's team.
Couple substitutions. Kayla McKeon coming on for Boise State here.
You don't see that often. DeLeast took that free kick, and her shin guard went flying out of her sock.
Victoria Block also into the match. It's a foul from behind, as Francesca McGuire, the outside back, got pulled back again by Zoe Parkhurst. Ella Atherton-Turner also getting some time for McGinnis. The next wave of Broncos coming in. And SMU also set to make a sub in the midfield. Lisa Beyer has not come in as of yet. These subs we're showing you have not been made as of yet. My apologies. Those are the ones that are ready to come in. We'll let you know when they come in. So Jillian Anderson again will get the restart. This is about 35 yards out. Angled out just in front of the SMU bench. Floats it in. Pretty good ball played down to the ground. Richter with a half clearance. Button running after it and able to strike it up the field in the direction of Martin. But SMU picks up the clearance.
A little bit of an unorthodox formation on that restart. The Mustangs had 8 players lined up right on that 18-yard stripe, and the Broncos had 2 players behind them in what looked like an offside position. And as the right before the strike of the ball, they came racing back into an onside position just to create some confusion.
Great look for Donovan, drives it in, and Aubrey Brown is able to snag the low line drive. Maddie Donovan, the central midfielder, a fast, explosive player moving in toward goal.
Yeah, she pulls the trigger quickly and aims for that lower left corner. Really nice shot. Just sort of hums along just over the grass. And Aubrey Brown, 2 parts to that save. Not only getting down in front of it, but not giving up a rebound is critical.
Told you Asia Lawyer was never going to stop pressuring, and she comes up with the takeaway there. There'll be a throw-in here for Boise State. Lawyer, part of a great athletic family. Her dad, David, a 6-time conference champion for Boise State in track and field. Her uncle, Kerry, helped BSU's 100-meter record for a time, and her Aunt Tracy won an NCAA heptathlon championship as well.
Is that all?
Yeah. Now, it took a while to say all that. Let's get the subs coming in for SMU. London Hagen in for Richter on the edge. Boniquez comes in at an attacking midfield spot. The snag toward the goal as a free header is put on frame by Boise State's Mia Lane off that great serve out of the corner. Watch this ball by Asia Lawyer.
Yeah, beautiful serve. And as you said, Mia Lane able to duck her head down, and in doing so, got a really nice spin on it and curled it very high. Aubrey Brown able to go up and climb the ladder to go get it. If she hadn't gotten off her feet, it looked like it was going to hook back down under the bar. Really nice header by Mia Lane.
Outstanding play here by Boise State, as they have been the better team through the first 30 minutes here in Dallas, and 2 quality chances here recently. Aubrey Brown having to make 2 sure saves, and a foul coming on SMU means another restart for the Broncos in the final third.
If I'm Nicole Nelson, I don't think I hate that foul though, because it looked like sort of matching the aggressiveness and the forcefulness that Boise State has started with. I think you want to see a little more of that from the Mustangs and see if they can match that and tilt the field back to being a little more level.
Jillian Anderson has the wind blowing into her face, so the ball should hold up a little bit as she pops it toward the top of the 18. And the header is going to drift just wide of the goal. One of the midfielders able to make contact with that one, as it was Kayla McKeon, the junior out of Costa de Casa, California, who made contact with it. Tough one. Samuelson Elverum just barely gets rid of it. And Mia Lane has been a factor since coming on, running all over the field for the Broncos, a very fast 9. At SMU, a transition through the midfield. Nice pass to Byer, who scored last time out. Byer looking wide left, finds Peyton Hayes. Hayes out of Southlake, stepping over it. Hayes cuts back to the inside, tries to dump it off. No clearance the first time. Second time it is cleared out toward the Boise bench.
Mustangs very lucky, and they're saying it was deflected off a Mustang, so it's a Boise State throw. Mustangs very lucky that they didn't give up a shot a moment ago. Elverum very poised and calm back there, almost too poised. As you said, Mia Lane everywhere, and she nearly got there in time to intercept the pass.
And now Lane trying to draw a foul right in front of our central official, and did not get the call to go her way as she went body to body with DeMott. Stephanie Serrano, our lead official this evening for this 5 o'clock start in Dallas. And once more, Asia Lawyer coming in and changing this match. I think her activity level, she and Mia Lane together, they have been a big part of it for Boise State in helping to flip this match as Ryan Dedman comes on at an outside back spot for Malia Martin.
Yeah, we've seen a sort of a cavalry arrive for both teams in the last few minutes, and that's just an indication of what's still to come. Both teams did basically a hockey line change a moment ago, and we will see more and more of that going forward.
A little under 12 left in the first half. Samuelson Elverum, transfer from Jacksonville State, where she was All-Conference USA, 3rd team last season. Nice job by Dedmon touching it down, and a race after the ball. And Hagan catches up with it, trying to square it inside. Cleared for a moment, only as far as Dedmon, and now it is drilled out to midfield, where Haley Hartman tries to keep the pressure on for SMU as both teams look to break through with 11 minutes left in the first half.
Hagan adds to the right side what Jannereth added at the beginning, which is pure speed. Hagan is she can absolutely fly, and that really changes the kind of attacks you can put into the offensive third when you can send it to space and just let your teammate go get it.
Dedmon again looking for Hagan. It just does not have quite enough. Hagan got the start her last time out. Today, coming off the bench. Hagan out of Mustang, Oklahoma. As, again, Boise is not afraid to go into the bench after some great work. Asia Lawyer comes out, and Tambry Bell, who is another outstanding athlete, comes on. Sophia Avalos into the match. Broncos going to go 25 deep here in this first half. Also got Victoria Block out on the field. She came in the last wave, along with Lexi Lerwick as well. Everybody gets involved for Boise State. Kaylee Noble, big-bodied forward, able to shield off, get it to Hayes, trying to get the switch. Dedmon running onto it with some space on the right side. Can she serve in a dangerous ball? Instead, she slots it in back door, looking in the direction of the freshman from Germany, Lisa Beyer. And a good job defensively to put her body between the ball and the player by Lexi Lerwick.
Mustang's a little unfortunate to not connect on that pass, but it wasn't a bad idea by Dedmon, and I say that because when she ran onto that ball on the far flank, you could see 3 or 4 Bronco defenders backtracking toward what would have been the far post. They clearly thought she was going to send a long ball across the middle of the mouth, and unable to connect with Beyer, but there was an opportunity there.
Lerwick making a nice defensive play. Lerwick is a really interesting case because she played in the old Pac-12 for Washington State, and now she's playing in the new Pac-12 for Boise State. She's been a part of not only the old Pac-12, but also the Big Ten at Oregon and the ACC, where she played at Miami, and now she's playing back in the Pac-12 again. College sports, quite a bit more weird than it used to be. I don't think anybody can deny that.
Can she be an All-American just because she's played in every conference?
Sounds good to me. Yeah, she's been all over America.
There has to be
Why
some
can't
kind
you
of
be an
qualifier
All-American
for that, right? Yeah.
She's out of Des Moines, Washington. Which I got to be honest with you, I didn't know there was a Des Moines, Washington.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
A little bit of prep for this one. Kennedy Catholic X. She's been everywhere, man. Now she's in Boise. Here's Ava DeLeast with the restart from just beyond midfield. Again, into the breeze. Really nice effort after it. But Aubrey Brown was the only one that could put paws on it by rule. And she was
she's the only one allowed to.
Only one that could really reach it. SMU throw in here late in the first half. Slowly and steadily, the feeling out process is starting to erode, and these two teams are trying to figure out how they want to attack each other. I think for Boise, they're figuring out where their pressure is coming from. For SMU, what have they done to be a little bit more dangerous in these last 5 minutes?
I think part of the advantage of, if you have the bodies to press high all game long on a day like today, it not only creates chances, but if you're lucky, if you're Boise State, it also can wear down opposing defenses. Now, Nicole Nelson has been, as you said, pretty liberal with her substitutions as well, trying to match the Broncos in terms of fresh players in and out of the lineup. But that aggressiveness, it's sort of like you hear boxers talking about absorbing the other guy's the first flurry or the first big punch. So far, the Mustangs have really absorbed a flurry from Boise State.
They have. And SMU has had the opportunity to couple shots of their own over the last few minutes.
Yeah.
One save made by Ava DeLeast in there. Now, this was a foul back behind the play, and so yet again, Ava DeLeast will come well out of the goal. And this is something you can do with a player as athletic as DeLeast. You trust her to be able to sprint back into her goal mouth, even though she's out near midfield. And she didn't even drive it deep this time. She played it short. Now, Boise running through the defense. The cross is played away by Hartman, as that was more of a Victoria block in between play. Couldn't tell whether it was meant to be a shot or a pass. And now Hayes is tripped up from behind, and it's going to be Block who's going to be booked.
Yeah, she had a look on her face as if to say, yeah, I know I did it. Guilty as charged. And there was no way to make that call without the card. Because as you said, she took her down from behind. There was clearly nothing malicious in mind by Block, but a takedown from behind like that has to bring a card, and it did.
Again, a takeaway by Boise. Not able to connect on that final pass. Sooner or later, one of these is going to come out in favor of one of these teams in the final third, as SMU continues to come up with a clean sheet like they did last time out. Through the first half, they've had 40 minutes of scoreless ball against them as well. Now a nice play by Hagan, throws it in front. It's a tipped ball off the body of Peyton Hayes in front, and off her midsection, it ricochets wide.
Yeah, really tough play for Hayes here as she really takes one right in the stomach, and that's obviously a very difficult ball to control. But you were right about the passing. If you're Boise State, you know, you've had the upper hand in a number of different metrics so far, but I think you want to be just a tiny bit more precise with some passing. And if you're the Mustangs, you got to be quicker with passing. You know, 1- and 2-touch passing rather than waiting and looking and trying to get one of your teammates to make a break for a perfect pass. If you're under siege by a team that is pressing high, you've got to make the ball do the work. Let the other team chase the ball, but you can't wait and wait and wait against a team like Boise that's coming at you so fast. I think the Mustangs have to tighten that up and start making quicker 1- and 2-touch passes. They do it before every game. Every team does it before every game in warm-ups. Now's the time to put that to use.
When SMU does not have the ball, trying to keep Boise State off the board, a team that has been so dangerous this season. And Coach Nelson's defense, 23 shutouts over the course of 22 to 25, and just came up with their 24th the other day. Their first of this season, 6 shutouts last year as well for Nicole Nelson's defense, who especially outside of conference play and outside of ACC play has been very stingy. London Hagan had a mind to try to take herself to the corner, but she had to slow up. A little sustained effort here for SMU. Byer a heavy touch, though, and an aggressive play to come up with it by McKeon. However, marching back inside to take it away was Goldstein for a moment. We continue to play pinball in the middle third. Boise State with another substitution. Grace Hatch, a freshman they're very excited about, out of Pocatello, Idaho, and Highland High School, or rather Grace Hatch coming in, I should say, as a local player, played with the Boise Thorns and out of Boise High School. Avalos' cross is denied. Avalos listed at only 5 feet tall, the smallest player on the roster for the Broncos.
2 minutes, Lundy, you got it. No foul.
Here's Hatch, the freshman.
No foul.
Up against the senior, DeMott. Or rather, that is Byer, and Byer sticking her foot in there, and it goes out off of her. Throw in with 2 minutes left in the half. And that will be SMU ball.
Both teams lobbying for that throw-in. From our angle, it was much too close to tell. It looked like it hit both of them almost simultaneously.
Stepping back to the inside, the ball is blocked. Good low block by SMU as Samuelson Elverum comes over to deny it. And that one just over the head of Sierra McClellan.
Elverum's been a nice addition to the midfield for the Mustangs. We've talked about it before, just a sort of a calming, steadying presence in the middle. You know, whether or not she shows up on a stat sheet, she's the kind of player who keeps a lot of possession and creates chances for her teammates going forward.
Nothing on the board through the first 44. SMU with 3 shots, one of them on goal. Boise with 2 shots, both of them on frame, coming in quick succession. 3 offsides for Boise and none for SMU. Final 30 seconds to try to make an advance here for Boise as it's mostly backups in right now. Alfredson Sampson with a shoulder charge. Long ball up in the direction of Hagan, and again coming off the line, or rather in the direction of Noble, and coming off the line to knock it into Kingdom Come is Ava DeLeast.
And if you're Jim Thomas, you love to see that quickness, but she's so good that you want her to avoid that contact, especially that far away from goal.
And nothing for either side, and a defensive matchup so far. A feeling out process on a very hot day in Dallas. The SMU Mustangs in play left center back, and Hayden Wilson to play right center back. A couple of transfers out of the SEC. Osborne out of Auburn, and Hayden Wilson coming over from Texas A&M.
Osborne in particular changes what the Mustangs can do defensively on set pieces. At 6 feet tall, she's the tallest player out on the field right now, and she can present more of a challenge to some of these bigger Boise targets for corner kicks and free kicks.
So early on, see if Boise State can test out the new center backs and make them nervous as they try to defend this SMU goal. Osborne, though, with a sharp clearance out to Kamaya Beck. That second ball, one down by Maddie Donovan. Another ball into the 18. Osborne not able to handle it cleanly the first time, but is able to shield off Sophie Schmautz. As Schmautz tried to get around her and come up with the ball clean.
Yeah, and Osborne not just tall, but also strong. She took a shot in the back from Schmautz and was able to keep her balance and really not give up much ground at all. And then, as you said, John, kept her body between Schmautz and the ball to protect it, and was able to turn upfield and find a teammate.
Another giveaway, and Jillian Anderson with a good idea trying to feed it inside to Sophie Schmautz, angling in toward the goal. But again, Osborne uses her body to shield off the offensive player. So the Broncos with a lot of pressure in these first few moments, the first 90 seconds of the second half. Anderson pops it in toward the goal, and again handled by Aubrey Brown. He moves it along to Nicole Stryker back in to start the second half for SMU at right back. Both of these teams using a lot of players in the first half, and SMU going even deeper into their bench for the second half. They've got their starting forwards back out there, plus their starting attacking midfielder. So the front four starters back out there for SMU, and Janareth, Beck, Richter, and Bunton. Schmautz has it cleared away.
It'll be interesting to see how the Mustangs manage their rotation in the second half, because we knew they were going to play some subs. In this kind of heat, you have to. But some key players really got extended rest. Kamaya Beck sat for 23 minutes. Brooke Bunton sat for 15.
Nice job by Beck to play it to herself up the field and switch things Great ball inside to Button, but DeLeast comes out and knocks knees with Button. It'll be a foul on SMU to protect the keeper here, who is out of her box, though, in DeLeast, who made the first contact and just barely. We'll have to see about the health of both of these players, important players for the two teams.
I was going to say both coaches just held their breath. Brooke Bunton and DeLeast for Boise State, among the most important players, if not the most important players for each side. Perfectly innocent collision. Nobody was trying to hit anybody. They were both just going for the ball as fast as they could. Both stayed down. Brooke Bunton got up and hobbled for just a minute, but they both seemed to be up and okay and no worse for the wear. And that little gust of wind you heard may be the exhale from Jim Thomas and Nicole Nelson.
That's a great point. Bunton, who missed most of last season with hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries, has been fully healthy this season, and it's made the world of difference for SMU. Meanwhile, for Boise State, Ava DeLeast has played every minute the last few years in goal. Here's Beck marching in out wide, stops on it, crosses it in. Button in the area, who's it outlast on, and they'll make it a corner kick for SMU, last touched by Boise State.
Well, once again, both players trying to help the officials make this call. And I'm not sure that ball didn't hit both, and which player it hit last, the officials had a better view than we did.
Second corner for SMU. As Jules Richter gets ready to hit it again. The first one for SMU really stopped before it started thanks to a foul inside the box. We'll see if Osborne is a target here at 6 feet. Richter, good ball to the back post. Popped up in the air, another chance, this time goes wide, as it went off of a host of heads before Lisa Beyer tried to lean into it.
And Osborne absolutely was the target. You saw her creep around the back of a couple of defenders and tried to get to that back post, and she almost got to it. But a couple of the Broncos got up in the air in front of her and prevented the ball from reaching her. But you called it, John. Osborne was definitely the target on that corner.
Richter, the high school punter, with a great ball out of the corner. Stryker tries to win a ball for SMU, and she does twice, taking it away from Jill Anderson. And a foul from behind. Fourth foul of the match on Maddie Donovan. She is the backbone of this team as she knocks her way through Lisa Beyer. And the Boise State Bronco, part of the all-newcomer team and Mountain West Conference All-Tournament last season, as well as a freshman for the Broncos in the midfield. So the restart going to Hayden Wilson for SMU. To the top of the 18, Beck flicks it in, and it is sent just wide. Some nervous moments for Elise McGinnis, who is facing the goal as she turned to try to play it over the end line.
Is that Francesca McGuire?
No, it was 13, McGuire rather than 23, but in any event.
I don't think she was trying to play it back to her goalie, but I promise you she wasn't trying to play it that close to the goal. She was just trying to clear it out of danger. And for those wearing blue and white, it was a little closer than anybody would have liked.
Richter, a line drive this time, and just over the head of Osborne. Cleared away only as far as Stryker in toward Beck, flicked on, and just toward the outside as Ava DeLeast is able to pick it up off the post. But a good secondary chance for SMU after the clearance. Button can't stride away through Donovan. Donovan takes it away and looks to turn. Donovan tracked down from behind by Button, and Button is fouled by Donovan. Fantastic.
Great work by Button to backtrack and not only get there in time to try to get to the ball, but then cutting in front of Donovan and drawing the whistle for a free kick the other way for SMU.
Button, part of the national program for the U.S., the U18 team, along with Kamaya Beck. They're teammates at the Pintar Cup in Spain this year. This one's off of Beck. Turning to run, Here goes Schmautz. Schmautz and Osborne. Schmautz trying to knock it inside, and it's going to be a foul back behind the play. They let it play on just in case Schmautz was able to get to the goal, but Osborne had tugged at her way back outside the box, and Boise State will have a free kick opportunity.
Yeah, and this is a very dangerous spot, but it's a whole lot better to have it there than where it could have been. If they could have called one probably inside the box as well. So you're right, they delayed the call to see about playing the advantage.
And Jillian Anderson knocked one out off the far post last week at Weber State. Earlier this week, I should say, on Sunday. She has the restart here as well. Line drive, tipped away by Martin, and only as far as Anderson. Plays it in deep down the right side, and another foul is coming, this time against Libby Jannereth, as Jannereth tripped up Sydney Connor. And this will be a short corner.
Yeah, this will effectively be a corner kick, but we've talked several times through the first half about how quick Ava DeLeast is and how she comes up on free kicks. This is the second time in the last minute or two where there's a free kick well into the offensive third for Boise State. And look where DeLeast is. She's a couple yards behind midfield. You're right that that's only doable if they have the confidence that she can sprint back.
And that one sent right in toward the top of the crossbar, and Aubrey Brown has to handle it and poke it away to keep it from getting to the back post. It'll be a corner kick.
But the reason this one becomes different is now everybody's staring into the sun, and most importantly, that means Aubrey Brown is staring into the sun.
An early start today because of the doubleheader. Men play at 8 o'clock local time, taking on Stetson Hatters to open up their season. SMU receiving votes in the top 25 poll for the first time since 2022. Not only thanks to their win over North Texas, but also thanks to taking Vanderbilt all the way down to the wire in Nashville in the season opener. Anderson right after the goal. It's kept in by Maddie Donovan. Stripped away by Richter of SMU. And
I think Brown may have gotten a hand on that to get it to the bar.
And this is out. Last touched by Donovan as Boise State continues to buzz.
Here you see the shot from just outside the box. Aubrey Brown, boy, that angle's tough to tell. It looked like she might have gotten a fingertip on it. I'm guessing it would have hit the bar anyway. I don't think she really redirected it. But if you're Nicole Nelson, that was way too close for comfort.
Good job by McGinnis to step to this one for Boise. Played out to the corner. Anderson, Meg Stryker. Anderson inside, posting up, twisting. Wilson blocked. And Jannereth has the half clearance. And now Bunton is able to roll it to herself for a moment. Samuelson Elvram in the direction of Jannereth, making those long strides and trying to create some pressure in on DeLeast.
Yeah, that speed of Jannereth over on the left side, definitely part of the offensive game plan. We've seen 2 or 3 times now where there's space in the corner and one of her teammates has simply sent it long, assuming that she can outrun most defenders. Let's just let her go get it. A couple times she's come up short, but she has gotten a couple chances that way.
Still scoreless, 34 minutes left in regulation as Boise makes their first sub of the second half. Can afford to sub a little bit earlier in the second half because you've got re-entry available in the second half. Asia Lawyer in at a wing spot, and also Olivia Collins, the senior from Bozeman, Montana, comes in as Stryker is going to be called for a foul, and she'll pick up a yellow card as well, tripping up over the holding midfielder, Michaela Stanfield.
No real argument from Stryker there. She knew it.
Stryker's first yellow of the season and third of her career. First booking on SMU's side. Boise State had Victoria Block pick one up in the first half. Had a lot more dead balls in the second half.
Yeah, they have, and I think that's, partly a reflection of some tired legs and you're going to see people reaching a little more, which can mean whistles and dead balls rather than keeping the feet moving.
Collins trying to get around Richter. Richter trying to get in on a tackle, and she's able to make contact cleanly, and it does end up in a corner. Boise gets another grand opportunity.
You see Richter and Collins, and you're right, she was able to poke it away. She also got Collins landing on her head. Fortunately for the Mustangs, Richter's okay.
Anderson has shown she serves a good ball.
She's also about a foot inside the arc on that corner of the field over there.
Oh. I love how players try to get away with that.
She's still inside the arc.
Act like they don't notice. And just part of the orb has to be over that line.
Right,
as
that's
Anderson
true.
floats it out. Top free header, it's wide. Stanfield at 5'11". The transfer from Gonzaga got up there. Stanfield making her third start of the season and getting a shot.
All right, so if only part of it has to be over the line, maybe the second one was legal, but the first one, you would have needed a beach ball to have that thing legal.
32.5 left in the second half. And it's been a second half that's certainly been more exciting with chances toward the goal, as this one's knotted down by Dalen Lau, the transfer from Sacramento State. Won a couple Sac State transfers in the Boise State defense. Leah Martin throwing in, the transfer from Michigan State. Had the assist on the first goal of the season for SMU from Brooke Bunton out in Nashville at Vanderbilt. SMU scoring 3 in that opening match, 2 in their last match. Martin up the sideline, played back to the middle into the waiting feet of Maddie Donovan. Is able to carry it forward. In the direction of Asia Lawyer. Lawyer turns and she can run right past Osborne, but she's in alone. Lawyer needing some help and tries to play it inside for Campbell Wilson. The ball is deflected back over the goal line for another corner kick as the Broncos continue to inch closer toward their first goal in Dallas.
You don't want to give up corners, but the Broncos are really forcing the issue. They just have some speed on the front line that's difficult to match. As you said, Lawyer ran right past Osborne, and they simply are playing the ball quicker and pulling the trigger quicker. You know, they had, I think it was 2 offensive players in the box to maybe 4 for SMU, and still got a shot away that had to be deflected to keep it from being on frame.
And Jill Anderson would love to come up with a point, a score, or an assist here, as again, she is asked to pull the ball back over.
That's what that little ring means.
Should go with the left instead. This is a redirection for Boise State. Broncos march it in, play it centrally to Campbell Wilson. The freshman knocked away by Beck. It's free and cleared out to midfield sharply by Richter. Bunton is in on the keeper, DeLeast, who gets rid of it. A nice ball down to Maddie Donovan, who's able to turn, squares it inside. A backtracking play by Samuelson Elverum to step inside of the scorer, Campbell Wilson.
Lucky for Nikki Stryker there as well, as she was chasing into the box and tugging on the jersey while already carrying a yellow.
Watch out here. Bunton wanting some help, so she slows up. Now she accelerates toward the corner, tripped up from behind, and a foul on Boise State means a fortunate SMU restart, as she is brought down from the backside by Michaela Stanfield.
We talked in the open before the game about how both teams are very deep. Both teams will reach well into their bench to rotate fresh players in and out. But this second half is being played in a different gear than the first half was. People are being more patient. People are trying to set up chances more rather than just hitting the jets and going for open space.
Bunton and Richter are both good chance takers here, but it's going to be left to Richter. Bunton's covered up, so Richter takes the full approach on this free kick. Richter twisting it in, and it's popped up toward the end line. Reached there by Boise State and cleared away by McGuire. Nice job to get to the ball and keep it in SMU possession.
Terrific job by Martin backtracking and poking it away, because Asia Lawyer was lurking and looked like she was ready to fire up the engines and go.
Stryker couldn't clear it. There's another chance for Boise State. This one rolled out in front and played nicely by Aubrey Brown as the corner was being turned by Olivia Collins. Again, Martin had to be there to force that wide. This game's opened up a little bit, although there have been more fouls in the second half. Now, double-digit fouls on both teams. That's the 10th on Boise State. SMU also at 10 on this 104-degree night.
That's cooled off a little.
Yeah, it started at 106.
Did you bring a sweater?
Brown's got to watch out. Lawyer still chasing. And finally, out near midfield, Mutton lets it go through. On the backside, Loud takes it away. And here's Collins for Boise. And she overruns it. Martin comes out with it. Nice ball to Beck down the left side. It's a 2-on-3 with Richter inside the box. Beck marching in. Beck delaying, tripped up, back up, tries to drive it in. It's called incidental contact. They'll put it on the ground for Samuelson Elvram. Jannereth plays tic-tac-toe. Back out for Martin.
A bunch of the volunteer officials on the SMU bench disagreed with your incidental contact description. They definitely wanted a penalty.
There's Jannereth again, just couldn't handle it. And SMU is deciding whether or not to challenge, and they are going to go ahead and use one of their challenges to see if Kamaya Beck was fouled inside the box, and it's a possible penalty in favor of the Mustangs.
And they will take the time to also rehydrate.
So Stephanie Serrano has a chance to go underneath the hood.
And she's happy for the replay just so she can get into the shade for a second.
Goodness gracious, I know at least they put the stands on the correct side of this field. Or they put the sun on the right side, one of the two.
That was thoughtful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Stephanie Serrano assisted by Karina Wilner tonight. Stephen Bartolome and Janya Pongabas. So Serrano will get a look most certainly at this play with Kamaya Beck, trying to go 1v1 in the box, and whether the contact in that challenge by the Boise State defender was enough to mean a penalty kick for SMU.
You hope that in a game like this where it's broiling hot, and you can see both teams, although they're deep, although they're rotating players, although they're obviously very fit athletes, you hope this game isn't decided by fatigue and, maybe a reach penalty kind of thing that is a result of legs starting to slow down. I'm not saying that this one, if it is awarded, would be a result of that. Kamaya Beck really did a nice job starting and stopping, trying to generate a little bit of space to get some separation.
Here's a look at it. And Martin able to steer it away and get it down to Kamaya Beck.
So you see her run onto it, look up, figures out the defender. You see her cross over a couple of times.
You know, there's definite contact there, but
there is, and it's after the ball is crossed over.
That's Caitlin Slocum, an outstanding defender, sticking her foot in there. Didn't appear to make contact with the ball. It was Beck that was trying to whisk it away to her right foot, and Slocum trying to reach, definitely makes contact with the left foot there.
I think Nicole Nelson has a legit claim to this.
SMU went 0 for 2 on their challenges against North Texas. And again, this is a new system this year, Steve. You get 2 challenges for the match in the first 80 minutes from the coaches.
Right. And it's not like some other sports where if you win the challenge, you get it back. That's not going to happen. And as you said, after the 80th minute, it's up to the officials if they're going to do it.
And again, I don't think Slocum makes contact, and then she appears to incidentally, of course, it's not on purpose here, step on the foot of Beck.
Right.
And obviously that made it tougher for Beck to get back onto the ball and stay dangerous on the play.
Yeah, and it's incredibly difficult to litigate intent
Oh, and I don't think that's
But
what
I don't
they're
think
doing.
this is an intent kind of decision.
No.
Right. I mean, the coaches are not looking at as many replays as we are. I think whichever coach comes out on the short end of this call is going to be disappointed and will feel he or she has a very legit argument.
But it does have to be very clear to take the call on the field and overturn it.
It's got to be conclusive to be overturned.
And so
here some of the fans are getting a little impatient with the delay.
Serrano taking a long time to look at this, and you can see, you just got a chance to see the replay that we were looking at going at it super slow-mo, and I think probably the question is here, can she prove that contact was made? It certainly appeared there was,
right.
But is there any way that their feet were just in the same area and Beck kind of twisted over her own ankle or something like that? You've got to be able to conclusively say that Slocum made contact.
Yeah, and the officials also have access to some angles that you and I don't.
Good point.
Boy, this is about as close as it gets. A lot of times you can look at one of these things and you and I will sort of quickly say, oh yeah, that's definitely a penalty or that's definitely not a penalty.
I could see it going either way. Just for the
this one to me is a coin toss. And it's one thing if this game were, 6-0 at this point.
And so we will see what the call is going to be. Stephanie Serrano is going to bring the coaches in and see what she has come up with after poring over it. It was not an easy call for her to make whatsoever as she continues to wait for Coach Thomas to come over and join Coach Nelson. See if SMU goes 1 for 3 this season or 0 for 3. And Kevin Hudson has told us before, you always know who lost. That's the first person that gets talked to.
Well, yeah, the one who lost then wants an explanation.
Exactly.
The one who got the decision on his or her side, if you're lucky, you get a pat on the back and, yeah, sure, good call. Of course you had it right all along.
It'll be interesting to hear the explanation after the match that Nelson got, whether it just wasn't conclusive that there was any kind of contact or whether it wasn't enough contact. But it is no penalty. And with 27 minutes left in Dallas, we are still scoreless. And no chance from the spot for the Mustangs.
Again, that call would have been awfully hard to make in a tie game. And I know that shouldn't dictate whether something that you see is or is not an infraction.
Now Beck's able to turn on to one. Take it to the top again. She is tripped up, and once more a fortuitous restart for SMU as she gets taken down to the ground by Mia Lane this time. No, rather number 9 and not 6, as stepping into it was Sienna Zanino. Now this is Brooke Bunton time with the goal coming into play. Button staring over it. Will she serve it or will she go direct against DeLeast? Button pops it in and overshoots Kamaya Beck. Beck was really the only one racing in toward the back post, and just a little too much on that one from Brooke Bunton.
Almost looked like there was a miscommunication somewhere. If you're going to send someone to the back post, you often send reinforcements coming in behind looking for rebounds, and as you said, Beck was the only red jersey within several yards of that ball.
A change in the midfield. Zoe Parkhurst, an original starter, is in, and Bayer is out. Richter wins that first ball. Beck is fouled from behind by Lau.
But this is now 3 plays in the last couple of minutes, which have either been called fouls or possible fouls. against Boise State. In the first half, it was sort of tilted the other way. So the Mustangs have been able to sort of force the issue a little bit and try to even out the fouls, which was obviously can lead to evening out some scoring chances.
A change on the back end for SMU. They get Osborne out, and Hartman is back in at a center back spot. That ball popped over the head of Jannereth. Beck racing after it on the backside. It is cleared away, but only as far as the first third, as Tambray Bell was not able to keep it in. Bonaquez coming on along with London Hagan, pacey right wing. Bonaquez will come into the left wing to replace Jannereth, and we'll see Jannereth again later in the match. 25 minutes to play in Dallas and still no score. Ken Boise coming in with a 16-match unbeaten streak. They have not lost since the 7th of September last year, a 1-0 loss at the hands of UTEP. That was at home, a loss to the Miners. Hartman, the captain, decides to steer it away from the advancing Bell and make sure to set up the defense instead.
That left wing rotation is worth watching. Bonaquez comes in fresh and she can run, but if you are the Boise State defender or defense and you have the opportunity to see Jannereth again with, let's say, 10 or 15 minutes left and now fresh, that can be a problem because she's fast enough when she's tired. If she's able to sit over on the bench and get a little rest and get some water in her, she could be a problem coming back in late.
It's kind of feeling like a game that might end up being scoreless down to the last 5 minutes, and one of the teams breaks through as Dedman comes on for SMU for Malia Martin. Also a substitution on the side of Boise State as they get Cindy Connor back into the match at a midfield spot.
I agree. It has the feel that it could go down to the final minutes. You just hope that this is a game that is not decided simply because somebody's fatigue catches up and you know, somebody stumbles and falls or something, giving an easy opportunity the other way.
SMU barely able to keep that one in. Hagan is sprung in on the backside with the nice weight on this ball. Dedman is joining, but Hagan tries to cross it, and it's just on top of the goal. She was not able to square it quite enough as her forwards were coming into the box.
You see the speed of Hagan there. That ball goes over the Boise State defense, and by the time she hits the Jets, she's the only red jersey in sight, the only jersey of either color in sight. She outran all the Bronco defenders to track it down. Like you said, not quite able to curl it back in front of the net.
Ava DeLeast has made 2 saves in this one. SMU's Aubrey Brown has made 4 as part of her shutout effort so far.
I think both goalies have been really good. They've both made some nice saves.
Parkhurst battling inside the midfield and able to get rid of it. Hagan chips it along, but not far enough for Dedman. And a chance for Jillian Anderson. Anderson turning to run with Hartman. Anderson and Hartman is able to make contact with it, but it will be a corner kick again for the Broncos. Jillian Anderson, a problem all over the field for Boise State, as both teams will continue to roll through substitutions on this very hot night. Sierra McClellan coming in for Francesca McGuire. And Jillian Anderson will come out before hitting this serve. Anderson getting a quick rest. We have not yet had the official hydration break. And for Boise, Emerson Sprinkle on for the first time in the match. Line drive in, Need back out. And cleared out into space. Noble, who just came back in for SMU, chasing after it and able to force the turnover. Ball in the direction of Noble, down the left side, left behind her. And now racing back the other way, we have got players offside for Boise State on that back and forth run up the field. That was Emerson Sprinkle, the freshman who just came on, who was caught in an offside position.
You mentioned Noble on the previous play, just come in and then immediately the ball's played long to her. I think that ball got left behind simply because of the backspin on it. She was side by side with it, and then as she kept running, she moved it ahead of it, and the ball bounced almost straight up in its same place. Just nothing more than a funny hop.
Another throw in coming for Boise State. Second ball, won by Sprinkle. The freshman is undercut. Martin making contact with the ball. Ball in the direction of Sprinkle. Cleared away for a moment by SMU, but not far enough. Here comes Donovan down low. Lawyer trying to make the extra pass, leaves it behind, and Hartman clears it for SMU.
Mustangs a little bit on their heels, a little bit chaotic there, and believe me, I get it. When the ball's bouncing around in the box, the goalies sort of hold their breath, defenders sort of hold their breath. All you want to do is get it out of trouble.
Looking for a cross. Here it comes. Hartman puts it down, and then it's out to Hagan, and Hagan can run. Here she goes. Hagan, full strides with Noble out in front. Noble trying to get to it, and it's cleared off to the side by Caitlin Slocum, or rather by Sienna Zunino, trying to backtrack on the play in at center back right now.
Nice job by Hagan, simply taking the ball and carrying it about 70 yards, because there'd been several clearances by the Mustangs where, yes, they got it out of danger, but it hadn't been played to another red jersey.
Nice job after those couple touches to clear it away. Sprinkle leaves it down the left side for Asia Lawyer, and a transitional moment for the Broncos. Big moment as she rolls it back inside. Lawyer with a deflected shot, and Aubrey Brown finds it.
Beautiful snag by Aubrey Brown. As you said, that ball was deflected, and the spin changes. So it suddenly has a much stronger outside-in spin and curled back. I don't know if it would have snuck inside that far post, but it would have been close, and she was right to get over there and eliminate any doubt.
Oh, I think it would have. Brooke Button not able to play it back to the inside. Loud takes it away, advancing forward, has players out in front, but Button tracks back, a two-way player to come back and grab that ball for SMU. Brooke Button pulled down from behind, hard by Loud. Another booking on the way. And maybe not, this will be a hydration break. And we'll see if a yellow comes out, but this is a hydration break. As Loud gets into it with Button and pulls her back to prevent SMU from getting out in transition on a counter.
You're
17:48
right.
in a scoreless second half here at SMU.
Are you watching? Good. Because it's time. Time to run this city. Get your hands dirty. Do something that changes everything. Whatever happens next, happens here.
Pro Plan, excellent choice.
Yep, it keeps her ready for anything.
But sure. Pro Plan's exceptional nutrition fuels all of life's adventures. PetSmart, anything for pets.
Hey, do you like Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's a pepper thing. Nope. These aren't tomatoes. This is the recipe he makes because his mother used to. By heart. By hand. Was shipped and shopped same day in the same way you would. No order is ordinary.
It's the longest unbeaten streak in the country. Boise State, 16 matches since their last loss, September 7th of last year. It's even longer than Florida State, the defending champions. They're at 12 right now, along with one other team. Jim Thomas has it cooking at Boise, whether it be home or away, and trying to pick up another result on the road, even if it is a scoreless draw against SMU.
Yeah, and soccer being what it is, It feels like those streaks are so difficult because all you have to do is give up one awkward goal and then have the other team set up a team photo in front of the net and play defense for the next 80 minutes. Really good teams do lose. National champions lose. So what Jim Thomas and his staff have done at Boise has been really nothing short of remarkable.
Martin, a little miscommunication in the direction of Noble. A young SMU team. Most of their players are freshmen or sophomores, 17 of the 27 on the roster. 17 of the 27 are also newcomers, the most newcomers in the ACC. Quick throw in, Asia Lawyer. Cambry Bell back to Lawyer again. Boise's been dangerous with Lawyer on the field. Lawyer trying to split defenders, runs into a second. Samuelson Elverum wrestling with Bell, and finally able to turn out with it is Hagan. And Hagan has her advancement stopped by Elise McGinnis, but SMU getting it back with under 17 minutes to play. This ball still in. Cleared down the field in the direction of Sprinkle. Bell after it. And again, last touched by SMU as it goes off of the center back Hayden Wilson. He's pairing up right now with Haley Hartman along the back line. Dedman and Abby Goldstein are in there as well along that SMU back line. The sixes at this point are Samuelson, Elverum, and Parkhurst out in front of Aubrey Brown. Another chance. Here goes Lawyer down to the end line, but not able to cross it out in front. A goal kick for SMU as four new players come in for Boise State, and SMU will respond with one.
Janareth is back.
And while Janareth comes back for SMU, a host of forwards coming on, and the Boise State fans who have come out in force cheering the backups who did a great job to keep their team in it while Campbell Wilson was resting along with Sophie Schmautz. And a giveaway as Olivia Collins is back in, takes it away. Campbell Wilson turns back to the inside. Leaves it for Collins, but Samuelson, or rather Zoe Parkhurst, running after it. And stepping out to clear it away is Sienna Zunino to prevent it from being a counter for SMU. Under 15 minutes left to play in this scoreless match. Boise State looking to make it 17 in a row unbeaten. One of these teams break through. SMU has now changed the shape a little bit, especially when they're trying to come out of their own end. And seeing that, Boise State brings a lot of pressure. But Dedman is going to be able to march up the field. Some numbers for SMU. Dedman finds Boniquez in space on the right. Boniquez looking to get down to the end line. Crosses it. Dangerous ball. And it is going to be a corner kick for SMU. Last touched by Lau, as that ball was coming in the direction of Janareth at the near post.
You see the little stutter move there by Boniquez is enough to separate by just a half a step and get that cross away, and it was really close to finding its target. Nice play by the Broncos to not give up a shot.
Corner 5 for SMU. Boniquez does the honors. Low line drive. Skipped up into the air in the direction of Lawyer, but she can't settle it down. It's driven back deep by Hayden Wilson and cleared out to midfield where Sophie Schmautz is waiting on it and has numbers. Out to the right side, a chance for Olivia Collins. Collins squares it, Bunton off her body, and she's able to redirect it out to the sideline.
Nice job by Bunton. That's such a difficult play because you're running back towards your own goal. And it looks like she gets this where? In the ribs somewhere? You heard a couple of the Boise State fans in the crowd arguing that it should have been a handball, and I don't know if it was or not. It was close for sure.
SMU wanted to bring Kamaya Beck in, but they didn't have her at the table in time. They didn't think, but they're going to let her come in. Some discussion over whether she's going to be able to come in or not, but Beck is on now, and Boniquez will take a seat with 13:05 left in the second half. And the clock stopping on these substitutions with under 15 minutes left and a tie match. Samuelson Elverum. Popped back into the box. Lawyer turning on it and skying it back toward the goal. But Lawyer being a factor in this one again. So we can get a look at the shape coming out of the back for SMU. The back four really spread out here against this Boise State pressure. Samuelson Elverum in the direction of Bunton, but it's taken away by Maddie Donovan.
And the Broncos have changed the shape of their pressure as well. In the first half, it was basically like a flat three pushing up into the SMU defense. And now you've got two central striker types, like a 9 and a 10 going up together in the middle with a wing. So it doubles the pressure inside, but it does leave a little more space on the flanks for SMU to try to find some space and get rid of the ball upfield.
SMU trying to play it up the sideline with 12 minutes left in the second half of a scoreless night in Dallas. And shadows finally starting to creep across the field on this 100-plus degree night. Ball in the direction of Lawyer, touches it inside, intended for Schmautz, doesn't quite get there. Parkhurst back in the direction for Wilson. Wilson plays it to the top of the box, turns, rips over the bar. Campbell Wilson, the freshman leading scorer for Boise State, tried to put the Broncos in front on the road.
We've talked all night. You mentioned the long shadows. As you see Campbell Wilson there, sort of gets a hip check from Elverum and gets it a little high. We've talked all night about the heat and how the deep Broncos roster is really going to pay off as they rotate a lot of players in and out. And during the week leading up to this game, Jim Thomas called it, what do you call it, a trial run, a practice run? Because in conference, the Broncos have to come back to Texas to come see Texas State. I dare say that on October 30th, however, it will not be 106 degrees at kickoff, so that'll be a little bit different environment for the Broncos when they come to Texas again.
A little bit tough, a little bit different, but it is a tough two-step, a Texas two-step, if you will. Kind of like our dance at halftime, right?
Which was really the finest dance that has been on one of our broadcasts, the finest of one.
Yours wasn't half bad either. You were just off camera. I hogged it all.
Mine was spectacular.
10.5 to play in the second half. Can one of these teams break through in this scoreless match? Back down the sideline, trying to carry it in. Cleared away as McGuire is able to get it out of trouble, and the Broncos look to attack in the direction of Lawyer on the left side, but really never had a chance as Michaela Stanfield, who was a striker by trade, now playing a holding midfield spot and really still learning that sixth position. She's only played it for about a year for the Broncos. Good pressure by Noble. Noble back. SMU really hunting a goal here. They've got more offense on the field than they've had in the game. Ball in the direction of Noble, racing after it. Noble squares it out in front. Janarith! Oh, she can't get it to go underneath Ava DeLeast, who makes the save of the game. Right place, right time for one of the best keepers in the nation as Libby Janarith was trying to pound home the go-ahead goal in Dallas.
Fantastic save by Ava DeLeast. She's got Janarith coming in. You see Noble get around two defenders and keeps the composure. Janarith goes to her left foot and tries to tuck it under DeLeast.
And really, it's friendly fire
and then it's
here.
her own defender, right, who lands on her, and I think landed with a rib or a knee in DeLeast's ribs. And for a moment there, she looked like she was in a world of hurt, but she has shown a couple of times tonight she's not only quick and talented, she's also pretty tough.
But how about Brooke Bunton starting that with a creative ball to play Noble into space, back behind the back line. It almost resulted in the first goal of the night for either side, as you see Jillian Anderson, the Allen product, and the former teammate of Libby Jannereth back on, as Boise State has all their attackers on here with 9:10 remaining. We're due for a really fun ending.
You're right about Bunton creating that play, and it seems like watching her play, I want to change her position from midfielder to point guard because she looks like she's running a fast break.
I like it.
Keeps her head up, finds players on different sides of the field. And, you know, basketball coaches talk about getting the ball into positions where their players can be successful. Brooke Bunton does that very well.
She sure does. Boise State making a substitution at outside back. McGinnis out, McClellan on. Here comes Schmautz. And nice job to stay right with her. And Hartman will get the throw in. That's off Noble. 8:30 to play. Tense moments in Dallas. The first matchup in 22 years between these sides. SMU trying to find a goal to break Boise State's long unbeaten string. Nice job by Beck to get it to Bunton. Shoulders it forward. Bunton called for the foul as she knocks down Sierra McClellan.
Bunton doesn't agree with the call, and neither do I. They looked like they were pretty evenly shoulder to shoulder. I think that's one of those where a no call is the best call. That's just two aggressive, eager players trying to get to the ball, trying to outrun each other. And, yeah, there's going to be contact. But I didn't see any elbows come up. I didn't see anyone extend an arm.
Restart for DeLeast. That one falls down to Schmautz. Schmautz trying to get it back from Anderson, but cleared away by Parkhurst. Knotted back into play. Anderson stolen by Zoe Parkhurst. Parkhurst over the top in the direction of Beck, and DeLeast is 25, 30 yards off of her line to clear that one.
Are you watching?
Throw in for the Broncos with 6:05 remaining. Boise State, as the clock stops with 6:05. I believe Sierra McClellan might be cramping a bit.
Is it McClellan? I thought it was Donovan. And now, of course, we can't see the jersey.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at McClellan on the near side, but obviously Donovan is down at midfield, and it may be a little bit more than a cramp for Donovan, and she might be the most valuable player on this team, and certainly she's the best two-way. Hopefully it's just a cramp as they try to flex it out, and it seems as though that is the fate for Maddie Donovan, who is
and the
not
way
come
they were
off the field in
stretching
this
her
one.
foot up, it leads you to believe maybe it is just that.
Getting help from Amanda Dieno.
And I mean, obviously these conditions are perfect for cramps. About 1,000 degrees and some humidity in the air, and she's been running for, let's see, she played 30 minutes in the first half, and
she's 69 tonight.
Yeah, so if you're the Broncos, great sight to see her walking under her own power without much of a limp at all over to the bench. Try to get her hydrated, and with any luck, maybe they can get a couple more minutes out of her.
Other than the keepers, there's only one player that's gone the whole match, and that's Kaya Samuelson Elvram for SMU. Another corner coming for Boise State as Sophie Schmautz tried to square one up, and Hartman was there to deny. But 5:44 to play. Jill Anderson has a chance to serve one in.
Another liberal interpretation of that corner arc.
Anderson joined by Collins in the corner. And Collins right back to Anderson. Serves it in toward the back post, and the header toward the backside, cleared away. And a foul in the box on Boise State as SMU is able to keep Boise State off of the board thanks to a great play in the air. I think it was Ryan Dedman.
I think you're right. And she didn't get a whole lot on it, but she got just enough to keep it away from 2 Broncos sneaking in at the back post.
And a takeaway by Boise. Under 5 to play. Collins has it sniped away by Goldine. Ball by Parkhurst in the direction of Noble. Noble out near the sideline. Noble losing it in her feet. Throw in for Boise. 4:32 to play. Let's look at it. Oh, for SMU, but let's look at it here.
Yeah, you see the cross back in the middle, up and over Aubrey Brown.
Oh, no, it was instead 23 in the area. Hayden Wilson who saved the day. Otherwise, that might have crept over the line. Now Dedman tried to take it to the corner for SMU. Dedman back out to Brooke Bunton with some space. Bunton tries to play it to herself and creates a great restart as a yellow card is on the way on Boise State. Goes against Kayla McKeon. SMU will have a chance with 4:02 remaining.
Very subtle play by Bunton here. She looked back at Ryan Dedman as if she was going to send it back and then cut it between 2 players to try to split them and get into space toward the end line. McKeon really had no choice but to take her down because you certainly don't want to let a player like Bunton go running unmarked into the side of the box.
So what does SMU want on this set-piece opportunity? It looks like Bunton is playing it onto her left foot here. Approaching and striking, and it's on the ground and cleared away. Just a mass of humanity as Hartman drives it back in deep. Everybody onside for SMU. But again, Jillian Anderson able to get it up the field. It'll be an SMU throw-in with 3:40 to play in this scoreless match.
And in the waning minutes of this game, and really through maybe the second half of the second half, errant passes look more off target simply because in the first half they all had the stamina still to go chase balls down. Now you see players from both teams, if the ball's not on target, let it run out of bounds, give me a throw in, we'll start again. They are, a lot of these players are running on fumes in this heat.
Nice ball by Dedman, throwing it down the side to Noble. Noble drifting to the corner, and just her thought was to try to drift to the corner and then figure out a way to get a corner kick out of it. But instead, she dribbles it out. And Maddie Donovan is able to come back on after her cramping problem for Boise State. And Lexi Lerwick also back in, the 5th-year defender, the transfer from Miami.
You were right about Maddie Donovan's importance, though. That's got to be a huge sigh of relief for the Broncos coaches and players and fans.
Schmautz attracting 2, stepping right past them. Schmautz trying to get dangerous. Runs her way past Jannereth. Tries to touch it to the middle, but Beck takes it away. It's a 2-on-2, Jannereth and Bunton. But Jannereth plays it right into the feet of Lau, into her back foot, and a transition opportunity with 2.5 left now for Boise State. Here comes Olivia Collins. Collins out in front. Campbell Wilson deflected and out for a corner for the Broncos.
Nice play by Zoe Parkhurst stepping in front. Yes, you surrender the corner, but that was a very dangerous spot that could have been a shot. Nicole Nelson talked about how much fitter and quicker Parkhurst is this year, and it showed right there. To be in the 89th minute, 88th minute, and to have enough juice left in the engine to go step in front of a player and clear it, nice play by Parkhurst.
2 minutes left, a chance for the Broncos. Here's Collins. Into the 6, headed out by Hartman. Beck touches it out top. Half clearance, only as far as Slocum. Rolls it back down in the direction of Lawyer. Lawyer retreating out to McGuire. Along the edge for an offside, Olivia Collins. Back to SMU with 90 seconds left in this scoreless match.
That's a killer. This stage of the game, you've got to be aware of where the defense is.
And that is a big killer as well, as Bunton gets fouled, and SMU will be allowed to bring it forward with about 1:15 remaining. Boise trying to hang on to this, what would be 17-game unbeaten streak. And Dedman didn't have anybody to pass to. It would be a big scoreless tie on the road for Boise State against a team that's receiving votes, a team that lost just 1-0 in an exhibition match to Baylor, the number 6 team in the nation. This one crossed only as far as Hartman. Clears it away with 38 seconds left. Nodded back toward the middle, a race for it. And Jannereth in the direction of Bunton. The least comes out for it with 30 seconds. Got a player offside. Schmautz was way off. And Aubrey Brown picks it up with 20 seconds left. Interesting night in Dallas. This one's headed forward with only 10 left. Noble stepping in with 4. Will bomb it one more time, a deflected ball that ends up in the hands of Ava DeLeast. A scoreless draw tonight in Dallas. A game that